Israel has launched its long-planned major ground offensive on Gaza City, conducting heavy airstrikes overnight as troops pushed into the edges of the city. Thousands of Palestinians have been forced to flee down a single coastal road to the center of the Strip, joining hundreds of thousands who have already fled. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says a powerful operation has been launched against Hamas's last major stronghold, amid sharp criticism from the UK and other countries.
I am here in the operations room at the Kiryat together with the Defense Minister, the Deputy Chief of Staff, the National Security Advisor and senior IDF commanders. Our forces are operating on many different fronts. A few minutes ago our pilots struck the port of Hodeidah in Yemen. This is the main supply port of the Houthi terrorist regime. At the same time, our forces are operating in Gaza City with the aim, of course, of achieving the enemy's defeat, but at the same time to evacuate the population. We are currently making efforts to open additional routes to allow faster evacuation of the Gazan population, to separate them from the terrorists whom we want to strike. Tonight, in accordance with the directives of the political echelon, we launched the next phase of Operation Gideon Chariots. The goal of the operation is to return the hostages and defeat Hamas in Gaza City. We are concentrating an offensive effort in Gaza City, which will continue as long as necessary according to an orderly and evolving plan, until the goals of the war are achieved. We now hold large parts of Gaza City, after intense IDF operations in recent weeks in the neighborhoods of Z-Town, Sheikh Radwan, and Jabaliyah. No matter how long it takes, we will operate in Gaza. The method of operation in Gaza, as we operated in Phase 1 of Gideon's Chariots, is orderly and systematic. We will operate until the war goals are achieved. We are not limited by time. We estimate that it will take several months to take control of the city, its centers of gravity, and several more months or even more to cleanse the city, whose infrastructure is deep and well established.
Meanwhile, the United Nations Commission of Inquiry says Israel has committed genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. A new report says there are reasonable grounds to conclude that 4 of the 5 genocidal acts defined under international law has been carried out since the start of the war with Hamas in 2023, killing members of a group, causing them serious bodily and mental harm, deliberately inflicting conditions calculated to destroy the group, and preventing births. It cites statements by Israeli leaders and the pattern of conduct by Israeli forces as evidence of genocidal intent. Israel has categorically rejected the report, denouncing it as distorted and false.
Genocide is occurring in Gaza and is continuing to occur, and the responsibility lies with the state of Israel. We identified 3 persons in this report, and that is Prime Minister Netanyahu, the former Minister of Defense, Gallant, and one other, the President of Israel, whose statements inciting genocide is recorded faithfully. So much of this evidence, by the way, was posted by Israeli soldiers themselves. They were very proud of what they'd done. And you can hear it there. They've been instructed to shoot. You see anyone and you shoot them because they're not supposed to be there. And this message coming from the head of state, the president saying it's the whole population of Palestinians who are in Hamas. That kind of message sent to the military means that they are killing indiscriminately and violating international law.
Israel categorically rejects the libelous rant published today by this Commission of Inquiry. It spreads malicious the malicious genocide narrative. The report diverges from the mandate of the Commission, yet again stressing their biased analysis. It has systematically dismissed Hamas's atrocities. Throughout the 72 pages of this paper that the COI presented, the COI promotes a narrative serving Hamas and its supporters in attempting to delegitimize and demonize the State of Israel. Israel remains committed to international law and, as stated many times, aims to dismantle Hamas and invest many efforts and resources in minimizing harm to the civilian population, as well as in allowing and facilitating many humanitarian efforts. I will say that war is not a nice scene, but this war was forced on Israel. Regarding the data coming out of Gaza, it is coming out of the Hamas Ministry of Information or Ministry of Health, and this is a Hamas organ, and I do not believe the figures. And yes, there are casualties in this war. We're trying to minimize those casualties. A lot of the information coming out of Gaza is fake.
And to make sense of these developments, I have Reham Jafari, who is Communications and Advocacy Coordinator of Action Aid in the occupied Palestinian territory. Action Aid is a global federation working across 70 countries, including here in Nigeria. Reham joins me live from Bethlehem in the West Bank. Reham, glad to have you join me.
Thanks for having me.
Good. Can you give us a vivid description of what the situation is where you are at the West Bank and the reaction to Israel's ground offensive in Gaza City?
Yes, the situation in both West Bank and Gaza is catastrophic. Even in Gaza, it is more catastrophic within, especially after the intensive bombing and relentless bombardment and airstrikes that are falling on the heads of civilian people in Gaza City. The situation there is catastrophic. The people are forced to flee Gaza City with nowhere to go or with unknown destination. They do not know where to go, and wherever they go, they know that they will not find a safe place, will not find a shelter, will not find a food, will not find a water. And so the people, even who reached the south, they slept on the streets because there is no spaces for them. So considering the fact that more than 87% of Gaza area is under evacuation orders and under military orders, so the people are crowded in around 13% of Gaza area. There is no safe plan to evacuate 1 million people from Gaza City. The people in Gaza City are left with impossible and hard choices, whether to stay in Gaza City under bombing and being killed, or to flee, or to be killed on the road to the displacement site, or to be killed in displacement site, which lack the basic necessities and the basic services, the food, water, and shelter. These are the choices that are given to the people in Gaza. Many families, many children, many mothers wish to die rather than to be displaced to unknown destination. And there is relentless, intensified bombing from all sides in Gaza City. This is the situation in Gaza, considering also the fact that those people in Gaza City are starving, since the ICP report declared and confirmed the spread of famine in Gaza City. So those people are being displaced while they are exhausted, while they are starving, while they are hungry.
Yeah, just like you said, Palestinians are fleeing, but the number fleeing is quite infinitesimal, as it were, compared to those who are staying. But the talk is that Israel has designated a place for them to go to, and that place is overcrowded. Fill us in.
Yeah, there is no humanitarian zones in Gaza. The Israeli designated humanitarian zone and then bombed the people in humanitarian zones. And these humanitarian zones are overcrowded with people, especially in the middle and in the southern area that lack necessities, that lack food, that lack shelters. I'm talking about less than 1% of shelter items were delivered to Gaza since since 16th of August. So the people do not find a tent to shelter in. They do not find a space to shelter in. So the people are sleeping in the streets with their families and with their children. The fathers and mothers are standing powerless in front of their children who cannot afford them security, safety, or protection or cover to be protected from the coldness of the nights or from the weather. So this is the situation. There is no humanitarian zone. There is no safe zone in Gaza. All the parts of Gaza are targeted, and especially the intensive targeting and intensive airstrikes are conducted against Gaza City, but the other parts of Gaza are exposed to targeting and to airstrikes.
How has this impacted your work, Action Aid, and that of your colleagues?
Our colleagues are and the partners are part of the population, part of the people of Gaza who are suffering and under the threat of bombardment and airstrikes. Some of them decide to stay in Gaza City because they know the pains of displacement. They know that they will not find a safe or a shelter in other places in Gaza, and some of them are heading and going to the south part of Gaza under bombing and to seek safety, to seek protection, to seek shelter. And some of them have families and have children and have babies. They want to secure shelter for them. So our colleagues and our partners are suffering and are under unimaginable conditions, leaving their homes, their neighborhoods, their offices, their facilities, and heading to unknown location, to unknown destination. And they also stand powerless in front of the people because they cannot secure relief and aid for themselves. And this is the situation. Again, is a man-made crisis. It is a crisis. It is a catastrophe created by political choices, by political decisions, by the impunity that Israel enjoys. This is a catastrophe in Gaza. This is war in Gaza is allowed to continue by the complicity, by the silence and inaction of the world that let those atrocities to continue and to be committed against women, children, and aid workers, journalists in Gaza. So Gaza now has become the most dangerous place for aid worker, for humanitarian work in the world.
There is talk of Israel committing genocide by a UN Commission of Inquiry, and Israel is denying it, saying it's biased.
It is a serious and important report declared and issued by a UN official body. It is based on facts and investigations and in testimonies, and it is declared with facts, with reliable incidents. And yes, it is giving a wake-up call to international community, to the world, to act, to adhere to its morality, to humanity principles. The world should act. The world leaders should take action and more concrete measures to stop this war, to stop this catastrophe. Israel denial to this report and accusation to this report is again another indicator for Israeli defiance to international law. It is an indicator for Israel's disrespect to international law. This is denial is caused with Israel's impunity that enjoys for decades, with lack of accountability that led these atrocities, that led these war crimes to be committed against innocent people in Gaza. For us, it is a verified report. It is a reliable report. It is a credible report issued by experienced and expert UN investigators and UN commissioners who are known for their professionalism and neutrality.
Well, while the world is focused on Gaza, the West Bank is also experiencing a surge in violence and displacement. What are you seeing there, and what is Action Aid doing on ground right now in Gaza as well as West Bank?
So the situation in West Bank is not good. It's getting worse and worse every day. There is a strict and severe closure imposed on Palestinian cities in the West Bank, isolating them from each other. There is a severe movement restriction, restricting the movement of the people from place to place and from reaching their education station, from their schools, from their universities, and from their duty stations. Also, there is a continuous and increasing settlers' violence attacking the property and the lands and the trees and agricultural lands of the Palestinian people in Palestinian villages. And also there is a daily and night military raids to the Palestinian towns, arresting young people, young women. And also there is a severe deteriorating humanitarian conditions in the West Bank because of this closure and because the financial blockade imposed the Palestinian Authority. So the situation in West Bank is very dire. There are continuous home demolitions to the homes of Palestinians in West Bank, in Area C, and in Jerusalem. So, and again, so the escalation and the military escalation is not only in Gaza, but it is in the West Bank. What Action Aid does, Action Aid has an emergency response in both West Bank and Gaza. We are focusing in Gaza in delivering humanitarian, some relief and food assistance, and some emergency cash assistance whenever we can, since a humanitarian response in Gaza is facing huge challenges and obstacles caused by a total blockade imposed on Gaza, where humanitarian aid is being obstructed and preventing from entering Gaza. We are talking about the delay and the prevention of aid trucks to all humanitarian organizations from entering Gaza. What it is being delivered and allowed to Gaza is a limited number or a few aid trucks, while Gaza needs every day more than 1,000 aid trucks to cover the increasing needs of the people who are being starved and displaced. In West Bank, we focus our humanitarian response on providing family with cash assistance and with protection services and other support services to help them to mitigate and the hardship they suffer from, especially for the Palestinian refugees in the north bank, in the north of the West Bank, where they forced to flee their refugee camps.
All right, Reham, we'll leave it there. Reham Jafari, Communications and Advocacy Coordinator of Action Aid. Action Aid is a global federation working across 70 countries, including here in Nigeria. Reham, thank you so much for joining us from Bethlehem.